So it feels like 3D print company icon and Lennar, mega home builder of the world, might have cracked the code to the affordable housing crisis, and it's right here outside of Austin, Texas in Georgetown. They have an amazing community and a really, really good product. I'm ready to sell my house and get one of these houses. Not gonna lie, the homes here are beautiful. I'm super impressed. I love what they're doing, and I can't wait to take you inside. It's like, did Austin just figure out how to supply affordable housing to the world? I don't know. Let's dive in. So right now, these homes in this particular community, they're not cheap. All right. And the cool thing is they were designed by Bjarke Ingels, which is a world-renowned architecture firm. And they're in Wolf Ranch community, which has been around for years. It's massive, and it is more of a higher end community. It's got swimming pools, tennis court, pickleball court, and it's like backed up against a river. So it is not one of those places where you come because you want a cheap house. So let's start there. At the time of this recording, the builder's rep, who was so sweet to me, sent me a inventory sheet, and the lowest price that they had was $399 for 1,500 square feet, and it went all the way up to the mid 500s for something around the 2,100 square feet. And that's for one of the spec built homes. I'm sure it can get more pricey as you add more amenities, but it seems like that $399 is like the real entry point for this community. And if we compare that to new built homes in Georgetown right now, the average price for a new built home in Georgetown is right around $230 per square foot. And the average price for the homes that are available right now in Wolf Ranch that are 3D printed, it's about $249 a square foot. So it's a little bit more pricey. But that's the thing about technology. As the technology progresses, then it gets cheaper and cheaper to do. So we are at like the very first stages of this. The first house was 3D printed in like 2021. So we are right at the beginning of what I think could be a really revolutionary way that we build homes. It feels like we're in like a space station living quarters, like some manufactured house they made on Mars or right? Like this is straight out of science fiction. So when I got there, I told the builder's rep, these houses feel like something out of a sci-fi movie or like a moon base. And they laughed and said Icon actually got tapped to do the first construction projects on the moon, which is absolutely crazy to me.
You live on the moon?
Beyond like the curved walls and the ridges, this feels like any other house. There's just a little extra element of cool because of the layers and all the curvature. I'm a futurist, so to live in a house that kind of feels futuristic, I'm all for it. Another really cool way to see how these can be used as like affordable alternative options is Icon donated several houses to unhoused people in the Community First Village in Austin. I thought that was great, and they have an amazing mission, so check them out. They were actually building a couple of these while I was there on site, and there were maybe only 5 or 6 people between 2 houses that were getting built at once, whereas for a traditional build, you're gonna see like 10 to 12 people there. So this was a skeleton crew compared to the construction sites for more traditionally built houses. So where the technology is right now, when you 3D print the walls, it's gonna take you around 2 to 3 weeks. Traditional build, this would take about 2 months. So right now, the process only shaves about a month and a half off of your build time. So don't expect because you're getting a 3D house that it's gonna be ready super fast. These are ready in about, let's say 4 or 5 months, whereas your traditional construction is probably ready in about 6 to 8 months. Something else that stood out to me in the way that they staged these actually was the use of kind of a lot of the natural materials, right? Got the wicker there, the wood there, the green, and then the neutral colors. I thought that was really interesting because I figured that you would be a little limited design-wise when it comes to having this concrete because it's very distinct and it would feel very industrial because it's concrete, like the actual material, but the curved lines actually tone down a lot of that industrial feel and make it feel a little bit more natural and soft. And they're using really soft colors in here and natural materials, and it blends well with the industrial look, especially when you come into the kitchen. So I like the way they did that, like this straight up concrete floor, stained concrete floor, the gray on the cabinets, and then the metal stainless steel up into like some blacks and some dark greens and really dark browns. I really like the way they did this. So seems like so far they are not super cheap and they're not super fast. So are they even worth it? Like, why would you even do a 3D print house? So a 3D printed house actually comes on a normal foundation, and the only thing that is 3D printed is the walls. And so there's layers of this, what's called lavacrete, which is kind of like concrete, but not exactly, kind of a more finer substance. So it makes these houses really energy efficient, but you're gonna pay a lot less for your utility bill. One of the main questions that I had was like, what if I'm hanging something here and I decide that I don't want it there anymore? They said, one, you have to use like an upgraded masonry screw in order to like screw in a painting. The cool thing is like you have automatic grid lines and it should be super easy to measure. But I was like, what if I need to pull that off and patch that hole? And they said you could actually just use grout. I know one of the big issues is for this floor plan, you're not doing any remodeling. These concrete walls are staying put. They're staying where they are. But she said if you need to take out a section of wall for some reason, you can always save that and then put it back and then kind of do the outline with the grout and paint it back in, and it should blend really well. I thought that was a really, really cool concept. But you don't want to knock down any walls in here. But the hope is like these are built so well and so modern, and in the future you're able to design your floor plan to a place where like you don't have to knock down a wall because you're able to get exactly what you want. And I really like the layouts on these. They're so unique. One of the first things that the builder's rep said to me when we walked into it was, this is essentially an above ground tornado shelter. And I thought that was absolutely wild, because one of the most common questions I get for people that are relocating to Texas is, tell me about the tornadoes, right? Like if you're not from where tornadoes are prominent, then you are pretty nervous about them. And in Central Texas, this is Tornado Alley. So it was really cool for her to tell me that like these are built to withstand flying debris and high winds. There's actually a test where they shoot a wooden 2x4 at the wall at about 30 miles per hour. And per the website, these walls consistently passed that test. So it was really dope to know that hurricanes and tornadoes are kind of no match for these houses. There's also a batch of these houses that survived a 7.0 magnitude earthquake in Mexico. So these are built to last. And another cool reason why you might get one of these is they can burn for up to 2 hours without sustaining any substantial damage.
My house is on fire! Woohoo!
That's crazy. If you want to spend more time in those model homes to see what they're all about, I made a whole video just walking through those. I'll link it in the description so you can check that out. It's definitely worth it. It feels different in those houses. I'm super excited about this technology for so many reasons, and I love the fact that one of the largest communities in the world is right here in Texas, about 20 minutes away from my house. So if you are thinking about buying yourself one of these 3D printed homes and you got some additional questions, drop me a line. I would love to help. I am so bullish on this whole concept and idea. Also, if you're thinking about moving to Texas, I've linked a nice little relocation guide in the description for you. It's meant to save you a couple of hours of research. I hope you enjoy that. And as usual, thank you for spending a few minutes here with me today. I've got a couple of videos over here that you might want to check out. I think you'll like them, and I appreciate you, and I will see you over there. All right? Peace.